Welcome to episode 24 of our video blogs. I'm your host Chamal Tatis, and in this video I'm going to talk about webinars. So is webinar still effective in 2018 or is it already dead? Well, stay tuned and let's check the answer. I'm pretty sure that at least once you have already attended a webinar. And in the last 5 years or so, webinars has been the most effective way to grow your leads and sales. But the question is it still effective up to now? Well, after doing a research on this, I realized that it is still effective. In fact, it is still one of the best ways to grow your leads and sales up to now. But the way to do it has already changed. You know, a few years ago, you have this webinar wherein it's really long, and it takes about 10 minutes for the host to do the introduction, and then the host have these slides with text and bullets, and then he or she will spend like an hour to teach you some tips and strategies in your niche. And then towards the end of that webinar, he or she will pitch to you a certain product. This can be a software or a training for you to learn more or for you to be able to make things easier in whatever things that he or she has taught you in that webinar. And while this kind of webinar was working in the past, things has already changed. You know, at this point in time, webinar is still the best way to grow your leads in sales. But you don't have to make your webinars very long anymore. In fact, a 30-minute webinar is already the best way to go at this point in time. Simply because, well, the attention of people nowadays is getting shorter and shorter. Simply because, you know, there's a lot of distractions online and so it's a great idea to make your webinars a lot shorter. Aside from that, it's a great idea to make your slide or your presentations a lot visually compelling, because just using those mere text with bullets are kind of boring, If you will be watching a very long webinar composed of just text and bullets, then you will be bored to death, So to keep your viewers watching, you have to make your slides visually compelling. But to be honest, I'm not really the best person when it comes to webinar myself, simply because, when it comes to going live and doing this and that, I'm still not that very good. I often make a lot of mistakes whenever I'm recording my videos, and so to be honest, I'm always afraid to do a live webinar. In fact, the first time I did this alone, it really failed a lot because there's a lot of challenges like the technology wherein your app will suddenly crash or things are not working, and then if you're not really used to it, you'll be very nervous, to do things live. So the best solution to these challenges is to rather use an automated webinar app. And I found one before, but to be honest, it's really expensive to what it does, and so I did not use it. I also reviewed one in the past, but I did not really like it. Even if it's really affordable, I did not like how that app works. Thankfully, I found this app that is not so expensive. In fact, it's really affordable and it's really working well when it comes to running an automated webinar. And by the way, when we say automated webinar, this is a kind of webinar wherein you just have to pre-record your video so that, even if you will do a lot of mistakes and all that, you can still edit your video and make it really as good as possible before even using that as your live webinar. And this is what I personally prefer to do, simply because I'm not really good at doing a live webinar. And I just found this app called Omni Webinars. And so right now, let me go to the computer and show you how it works. Alright, so as you can see, I'm now here in the dashboard of Omni Webinars, and let me show you how it works. And so for me to start, let me click here, the add an event tab right here, and then here I have an option to add the number of movies in this event, because I can design it in a way wherein if some attendees are late for 10 minutes or 30 minutes, they can still be able to watch from the start of that webinar, and that is if I want to do something like that. But for this demo, let me just add one and then click proceed. And then here I can add my event name, and for now let me just name this as demo. And then here you can also add your event description, and of course for your event description you have to make it as compelling as possible. You can say something like, I'm going to show you the 7 tips on how to lose weight, something like that, or 5 design strategies in 2018, or 5 video marketing tips in 2018, something like that, depending on the topic that you want to show in your live webinar. But again, for this demo, let me just add demo description here. There we go. Then after that, you will choose your event start and date, and of course you can just choose a date when you want your webinar to start. Let's say, for example, I want to start this on April 4. I can just choose that here, and then here I can also choose the time when I want to start the live webinar, and the time is based on Central Standard Time, and you have to check out the conversion of your own time with the universal time for you to be able to choose the proper time that you will add here. And just for this demo, let me just leave that as it is. And then here you can also choose your event buffer, like if you want the webinar to start at like 2 minutes, just to show that it looks like a really live webinar. Wherein if you have attended some live webinars in the past, you know that sometimes, especially for those who are using GoToWebinar, there's this voice that says the webinar will start in 5 minutes, just stay on the line, something like that. So if you want to add some buffer in your webinar, you can add one here as well. And for this one, let me just add one. And then here you will add the number of event allowed views, meaning you will add the number of viewers that you want to allow in your live webinar. Let's say, for example, you want to limit the number of attendees, like you just want to add up to 100 or up to 500 or something. You will just add that number here. And let's say, for example, in this webinar, I just want to accept up to 100 attendees. Let me add that. And then here you will check that if you want to require registration, or if you want to add a display question form. And let me check require registration for now. And then here you will add your registration button. So for this demo, let me just call it register, or register to the webinar, something like that. And then here, if you want to add a display order button, like for example at a certain part of your webinar you want to sell something, then you can just click here and add a display button. And then here you will add when you want that buy now button to appear, and what you will add here is the minute when that button will appear. So if your webinar is like 30 minutes, for example, and if you want that button to appear at 25 minutes, then you will add 25 right here. And then here you will add your order URL. So you can add your PayPal order URL, or probably your checkout page where they can go ahead and purchase the product that you're selling. And then for the order button, you will add a text right here like buy now or something. There we go. And then for the order offer button, it's just the same thing. And then here, if you want them to be redirected to a certain page after the webinar, then you will just enable this. And then again here, if you want to redirect them at a certain time in the webinar, then just add that minute number here. And what I highly recommend is that you do this like towards the end of your webinar. So let's say if your webinar is 30 minutes, then just add 30 here, so that after the webinar they will be redirected to that page. And then here you will just add the URL of the page where you want to redirect them after the webinar. But for this demo, let me not use this one. And then for recurring information, let's say you want to repeat this live webinar, you can always do that here. You can just check here and choose the repeat from date and the repeat to date. But again, I'm not gonna check that for now. And here you can also choose to repeat your webinar at certain days only. So let's say, for example, you don't want to repeat your webinar during weekends. All you have to do is check this weekdays right here. But again, as of right now, let me just uncheck those things. And then here you will add the name of your movie or the pre-recorded video that you will use in this webinar. And let me just again add demo name right here. Here we go. And then here you will add the URL where you uploaded the video. And what they recommend you to use is Amazon S3, or if you have a private video server that you're using. For me, I don't have any private server, but I also have Amazon S3, and I'm using S3 browser to upload my videos on S3. But of course, this is only on PC. If you're on the Mac, or if you don't want to use this one, you can just upload your videos to Amazon S3. And by the way, if you don't have an S3 account yet, just go ahead and create one, which is rather easy to do, and then just create some buckets or a folder where you want to upload that video that you may want to use. And as you can see, I already have some buckets or folders right here. So let's say, for example, I can go here to video projects, and For example, I want to use this particular video, I can just check it, and then here's that link that I can copy and then paste in this particular space right here. After that, you can just choose the length of your movie here. If it's an hour, you can just check 1 here, but like what I mentioned, it's a great idea to make your webinar a lot shorter, like 30 minutes or so. And if it's 30 minutes and a few seconds, just choose the number of the second here. Don't worry, because once you edited your video, you can check how long it is. So just check the exact length of your video and then just enter that here. After that, you can just choose a watch and wait template. And as of right now, I just have a single one here, which is this one and this one. So once I'm done with everything, I can just click send. And it says that I have some errors right here, so let me check it out. And the error here is that I did not add the order or the checkout URL. So as of right now, let me just uncheck this. I'm not gonna use this for now. And for some reason, it's asking me to add a valid URL here. So let me try again. Alright, so what I did was that I removed the S from HTTPS. I realized that it's not accepting it if you're adding the HTTPS version in your video URL. So the time I removed that, it actually accepted it. In case you're having an error in your video URL, that's just a thing that you have to do. Alright, so it's already accepted. So once everything is set, here's the link where the viewers can reach this event. So if I click that, it will be taken to this page, and here they can enter their name and email address for them to register to the webinar. And of course, it seems that it doesn't look well right here, but that's only because I did not add a proper description. Of course, I can make a longer description here so that it will occupy this particular space. Also, if I add a wonderful title right here, like 7 secrets on how to lose weight or something, that will appear a lot better here. And then here they will see the date when this live event or workshop will start. And so this is the link that you can pass on to your subscribers or to people for them to register to your webinar. So let me test it by registering myself. So let me just add my details here. There we go, and then just click register to the webinar. And then as you can see, I have this waiting page wherein it says when will the webinar start. I can see the countdown timer right here. And so let me check out some other things here. Like if I click my events, so here I can get my event link, my event details. I can add a video, I can edit, delete, or clone my event. But as of right now, let me click here to preview my event. There we go. So let's say the event is already going to start. So let me now enter my information for me to attend this event, and then click access the webinar room. And so this is how the webinar page looks like. The video will start to play, and your attendees will then can watch the video from here. So as you can see, Omni Webinars is really a great app that you can use to run some automated webinars. And I highly recommend this app, especially if you are someone like me who is not really good at doing live webinars, and you want to pre-record your video and then use that video as your live webinar. So I highly recommend this app, and I look forward to seeing you using this app with me as well. And as always, if you will get this app through the button that you can see below, I will give you awesome bonuses, and you will see those bonuses right below this video on this page. So thanks a lot for watching episode 24 of our video blogs. My name is Chem, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.